Fusion Mobile, quality e-learning experience on the go.
You are welcome back again. This is Fusion Mobile. We are still in geography class. We are moving forward. Today we are going to look at mountains. The way we discuss rocks is the same way we are going to look at mountains. We look at the types, we look at the mode of formation, and we look at the importance. As I earlier said when we were discussing rocks, some of these features, physical features like rocks, mountain, and plateau, some of them depends on their height and their shape. They formed from what? From the same parent material. Now, when we talk about mountains, mountains can be defined as an elevated upland with the height of 600 meters. 600 meters above the sea level. Above the what? The sea level. So whenever you have a height 600 meters and above the sea level, that features can be referred to as what? As mountain. Now, let's look at types of mountain. Number one, there is what we call block or host mountain. I'm using MT to represent my mountain place. Then number two, we have volcanic mountain. Then number three, we have residual or remain mountain. Now these types of mountains, for me to discuss their mode of formation, I'm going to draw some diagram on the board for us to see. I'm going to draw some diagrams on the board for us to see. Let's look at block or host mountain. What is the mode of formation of block or host mountain? Block or host mountain is formed as a result of features. If you can remember this word again, what is another name for this? Fine. Line of what? Line of weakness. Or you can call it what? Cracks. So let me give us this diagram. This is the earth. Look at it. We are talking about the formation of what? The formation of block or host mountain. Then we have like this. Now, if we have two lines, these two lines, we call it what? The line of weakness, or we call it fissures or cracks, these two lines. And it happened that this one sink down to remain this one standing at the middle. We call it what? We call it host or block mountain. Let's look at it. It will form something like this. To form something like this. Take a look. Just look at it. This one is this. This one is something like this. This one is this. Then this one is this. This one is this. Then what happened to this? We have like this. Then we have this one. Then we have this. The same thing here. We have this. We have this. We have something like this. Now, this one that stands as a result of the coming down of this is what we call host, or what? Block mounting. Why this one that falls down? We call it gravel. Gravel. Now, if you are asked to describe the formation of block mounting, what you should simply say is that block mounting is formed as a result of what? Two line of weakness. Then this side will fall, collapse to remain the middle one standing. This middle one that remains standing is what we call host, or what? Block mounting. This is block mounting. Now, number 2. This is number 1, block mounting. Number 2, we have fold mounting. Number 2, we have fold mountings. Fold mounting is formed as a result of what? Of compressional forces. Compressional forces acting on the earth surface. On the earth surface. To form, you need to compress. The word compressional. Let me use this paper, for instance. Can you see? Now, if there is a force from my right hand side and from my left hand side, let's assume that this paper is the earth surface. What will happen? It will, can you see? So this one that obtrude, it form what we call a mountain. And this can form different types of mounting. It can form a simple fold, it can form a symmetrical fold, it can form overfold, it can form overthrust. It can come like this. This. It can also form maybe something like this. Excuse me. It can form a simple fold like this. So this type of mounting is what we call fold mounting. This one is as a result of two lateral line of weakness, but this one is as a result of what? Compressional compressional forces, leading to this type of structures on the earth surface. This type is called fold mounting. Then number 3, we have volcanic. Volcanic what? Volcanic mounting. This one is the same thing as the formation of what? The formation of igneous rock. Let me represent it, because in mountains, whenever you are discussing them, You have to represent them by diagrams. You have to represent them. Can you see my own? This is block mounting. This is fold mounting. Then let's look at volcanic mounting. Volcanic mounting can be like this. Volcanic mounting. Now, this place, we call it vent. Now, this material will now force out and begin to what? And begin to solidify. To form what? This material will come out to form what we call volcanic mountain. Some, like intrusive igneous rock, can go like this, can go like this. Here we call lacolite. Here we call lapolite. Depends on their distance. Here we call dike. So this is what we call volcanic mountain. What happened? It's still the same way that igneous rock is formed. The magma here is forced out through this opening called vent. And once the lava comes out, they begin to solidify. And as they are solidifying, they begin to pile up. As they pile up, they can form a height, we say 600 meters above. And once it reaches that height, it becomes what? It becomes a volcanic mountain. Now, this volcanic mountain, this igneous rock, we are also going to look at plateau as also a type of plateau that is formed from the eruption. Then when we get to SS3, we are going to look at the earthquake. We have been hearing of earthquake. Now, by the time we get to SS3 work and we begin to discuss earthquake, you will not find it very hard again because, number one, you've known what we call the formation of these features: volcanic mountain, igneous rock, and other form of features that we are going to discuss. So these are, number one, we have the block mountain. Number two, we have the fold mountain. Number three, we have the volcanic mountain. Then number four, we have the residual mountain. Residual. The word residue means remain. That is, it's either the host, volcanic, that is subjected to the agent of erosion or weathering. It can be wind erosion, it can be water erosion, it can be ice or glacier erosion. Once this mountain is subjected to the agent of erosion for a long period of time, what happens? It begins to wear and tear away. The standing mountain begins to wear and tear away because of the action of wind, because of the action of water, because of the action of wave at times, or because of the, if it is, in a polar environment, because of the action of ice or glacier. Now this will now happen, and the mountain that stand tall begin to wear away. But as it continues to wear, it will come to a point where the hardest part of the mountain will be so resistant. That resistant part that refuse to be wear away by all these agents of denudation is what we call what? Residual mountain. So residual mountain can form from either volcanic mountain, either host or block mountain or fold mountain, as the case may be. Depend on the act of the action of agent of denudation that acted upon that mountain. The resistant one is what we call residual mountain. So these are the types of mountain that we have. We have four. Number one is block mountain. I've told us how it is formed. Look at this line. We call the line of witness. We call it fissures, or we call it cracks. When you have it developed on the earth surface like this, the side of this can collapse, remaining the middle one standing. Or even the middle one can collapse, remaining the two sides standing. The side that stands is what we call host or block mounting. Then we talk about fold mounting, is as a result of compressional force acting on the earth surface. So it will now wrinkle. There is what we call the rolling topography, up and down surface of the earth. The one that, up thrust can form the height of a mountain. Then we have different types of fold. We have overfold fold, simple fold, and recurrent fold. Then we have volcanic mountain. This one is formed as a result of volcanic material erupting, continue to erupt, pile up to form what we call volcanic mountain. Then finally we have residual. Residual mountain is a type of mountain that is formed from the remains of either block, fold, or volcanic mountain. So these are the types of mountain, and these are the way they are formed. Then finally, let's look at advantages of mountain. Advantages. What are the importance of mountains? Number one, some mountains, as we said about rock, they are used as a tourist attraction. They are used as a tourist attraction. Go to the one we have in Taraba State, the Mambila Plateau along Cameroon Mountain. People go there to enjoy the nature because of the cool nature of the mountain. Some mountain can also serve as a settlement area because of the environment, the climate, the weather of the place. It can attract people to settle on that. Climate also can be used as a defense during war. People go to hide, under mountains whenever their enemy, is coming. Whenever we have intertribal, intercommunal or communal clashes between two communities, some community go and hide very close to a mountain. Number 3, mountains also. Some mountains contain minerals. Some mountains, they contain what? Mineral resources. Then number 4, mountains, most mountains at times, they also contain water. There are cases we have spring gushing out from a mountain. So people go there to get fresh water. So these and many more are the importance of what? Of mountains. Even, lest I forget, when we are talking about another, there is what we call transhumance migration. That is the movement of cattle and their owners from lowland to upland during dry season, and during rainy season they move from the upland to what? To dry land in search of what? Of pasture. So what is there is that during dry season the top of the mountain is still fresh because of the activities of fog and dew make the pasture, the grasses around the mountain top to be fresh. So the Fulanis and their cattle during dry season they migrate up to the mountain. They will settle there temporarily within the period of dry season. Then during rainy season they now migrate down to the lowland. So these are the importance of what? Of mountains to man. So we have succeeded in discussing what? In discussing mountain. We discuss the divination. We say that mountain is defined as an elevated upland that has a height of 600 meters above the sea level. And what are the types? We talk about block or host mountain. How is it formed? Say when we have two features, a line of witness or a cracks develop on the earth surface. What happened to it? The middle one can stand tall while the side one can sink down to form a block, or the other way around. Then we have fold mounting. This one is as a result of a compressional force acting on the earth surface from the both sides, and it will force the earth to compress, and it can form a shape like this, either simple fold, asymmetrical fold, it can be recurrent fold. Then we have volcanic mounting. This one is formed as a result of what? Of volcanic activities that take place from the zone of core or barysphere, where we have magma materials. They erupt out, and as they come out, what do? They begin to solidify. As they solidify, piled up to a height of a mountain, they turn to become a volcanic mountain. Then we have residual. Residual can be that of a form from either block, either volcanic or fold mountain. What happens is when these rocks are subject or subjected to the agent of denudation, it can be wind, it can be ice or glacier, it can be wave, it can be, water. Now, when this standing mountain began or is subjected to wearing and tearing continuously, but it will come to a point where the resistant part of any of this mountain, either block, volcanic or fold mountain, will refuse to go. Now that remains now form what we call residual mountain. So far so good. We have discussed what mountain is.